Here's your Farm and Ranch Report from the Northern Ag Network.
Hello everyone, it's time for today's Farm and Ranch News. Well, earlier this month, the Bureau of Land Management released a final version of BLM Planning 2.0. The Public Lands Council says this process radically alters federal land management planning and moves the agency away from its mandate to manage for multiple use on federal lands.
Well, you know, BLM 2.0 sort of represents a lot of what we're talking about when we say midnight regulations, things that have come out in the final weeks and will come out in the final several months of this current administration. We're working with Congress to find ways to make sure we can roll those last minute, poorly thought through regulatory efforts back. Planning 2.0 is so bad and so much an example of that because it's so expansive in what it deals with. It completely changes the way BLM does its resource management planning. It eliminates a lot of local input from that process. It shortens comment periods. It eliminates the requirement that BLM include economic impact analysis early in the process. And it deprioritizes the role of state directors in those processes in pursuit of what they're calling landscape level planning, which really sort of further eliminates that need for local input, which is so critical to getting those processes right on the ground.
With midnight regulations that affect the landscape of rural America and agriculture on the docket for the Obama administration's final hours, Ethan Lane and his team at the Public Lands Council are working to prevent an unnecessary overreach by the government.
Well, what we're doing right now, both NCBA and PLC are working, leadership and staff, to compile a comprehensive list of all of our priorities in this realm. There's a host of regulations that we've seen come out. The list would blow you away. Right now, it's about 25 pages long, to be honest with you. And we're going through all of those things, and we're trying to figure out where our priorities lie, where we can provide the most relief for cattle producers and sheep producers on the ground, and you know, how we get to a place where we have a little bit of regulatory relief and we can start looking for opportunities to work with the new administration to go on offense and improve conditions for the next 20, 30 years on western rangelands.
With Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke nominated to head the Department of Interior, which oversees the BLM, Ethan Lane says, quote, "The PLC will miss Representative Zinke on Congress, but looks forward to working with him as Secretary of the Interior. Whether it's the Endangered Species Act or BLM Planning 2.0, his common sense approach to policymaking presents a real opportunity to get some of these programs back on track after 8 years of politically driven decision making at the Department of Interior," end quote. For more on this story, just visit us at northernag.net. There'll be more news after these messages.